In a future where mirrors were obsolete, Darren still kept one. Not because he was vain, but because he was nostalgic. In a world dominated by AR overlays and neural reflections, actual glass mirrors were considered quaint relics of a less efficient past. But to Darren, the mirror in his quarters aboard Terra Relay Station 7 was a grounding point. A piece of Earth. It had been silent for years. Until one morning, it wasn't. He had just finished his shift monitoring deep space transmissions, mostly automated, but occasionally interrupted by strange cosmic noise, when he walked past the mirror and froze. There was a man in the reflection. Not his reflection. A man standing behind him. But when he turned, the room was empty. His heart slammed into his ribs. He turned back. The man was still there, wearing an old Earth Navy uniform. Pale, eyes black like the vacuum of space, and smiling. Darren spun again. Still alone. No doors had opened. No noise. Nothing. He didn't sleep that night. The AI assistant, LUX, scanned the room. There is no intruder. No unusual energy signatures. Psychological stress is more probable. Then explain the man in the mirror, Darren said, sweat slicking his palms. There is no man, LUX replied. But every day he saw him. The same stance. Same look. Sometimes a raised hand. Sometimes a silent scream. And then, the most chilling part, the man began to mimic Darren. Not reflect him. Mimic him. Darren would blink. The man would smile. Darren would back away. The man would lean forward. As if he were learning. He tried to ignore it. Tried to tell himself it was stress. Isolation. Maybe radiation poisoning. Until the mirror started showing more. Behind the man, Darren saw ruins. A broken version of the relay station. Walls melted. Blood smeared across control panels. The Earth flag torn and burned. And bodies in uniforms like his. And then he saw himself dead. Neck snapped. Desperate, Darren ran a full system diagnostic. He pulled access logs from the mirror's internal scan layer. Every smart device had one, even the old ones. There was a data pattern. Something had accessed the mirror from outside normal spacetime. A signal encrypted in a language unlike anything Earth had encountered. It came through a solar flare burst, bounced off an asteroid belt, and landed precisely on his station. It wasn't noise. It was a message. Darren sent the data packet to Earth Command. They responded 3 hours later, do not engage. That is not a man. Seal the room. He stared at the reply. 3 hours too late. The mirror was already changing again. This time, the man spoke. No mouth movement. But the words rang in Darren's mind. You cracked the veil? Now the veil cracks back. He backed away, shaking. What are you? The figure smiled. Then placed a hand on the glass from his side. Darren's mirror cracked where the hand touched. LUX initiated lockdown, but it didn't matter. The reflection was no longer just an image. The glass became a surface, thin as air, cold as death. The figure stepped through. Not in a rush. Calm. As if he belonged. His eyes were darker than space. And his voice, when it came, was like layered static over screams. You think mirrors show reality, it said. But they are windows. And someone, somewhere, always looks back. Darren raised his weapon, a charged pulse pistol. Stay back, he warned. The man only laughed. Human defiance, he said. Predictable. Beautiful. They fought. It wasn't a battle of strength, but of identity. The entity, whatever it was, began mimicking Darren's memories, twisting them. Replaying moments from his childhood, his fears, his failures. Turning them into looping illusions inside the station. At one point, Darren watched his dead mother walk down the corridor, weeping blood. At another, he saw an alternate version of himself hanging from the ceiling, muttering, you brought it here, you let it in. But Darren held on. Not because he was stronger, but because he was human. And humans break, but we break forward. He remembered something, old Earth folklore. That mirrors could be sealed with silver. In the engineering bay, he found a plasma torch and trace silver wiring. The plan was mad. So was he now? He lured the entity back to the mirror room. Taunted it. Let it see his fear, just enough to bait it into stepping halfway through the glass again. Then he sealed the frame with plasma and silver. The entity howled not in pain, but in rage. It slammed against the glass, unable to complete the transition. You delay the inevitable, it hissed. Maybe, Darren said. But that's what humans do. The mirror hasn't moved since. Earth Command has quarantined the station. Darren remained by choice. To watch the mirror. Because now sometimes the figure isn't alone. More silhouettes gather behind him. And sometimes they look just like us.